If you're weighing US and European residency options, you've likely run into two problems: contradictory information and oversimplified promises. Timelines sound too perfect, tax outcomes are treated like one size fits all, and program names get used interchangeably, even when the rules have changed. That noise makes it hard to design a plan that protects your time, capital, and family priorities. There is a structured way to compare your options. When you look at each framework through the same lens, legal basis, capital requirements, family coverage, presence rules, mobility, and long-term pathways, you get a clear picture. Today, I'll walk you through a practical, side-by-side comparison of the US EB-5 program, Portugal's ARI, often called Golden Visa, after its 2023 reform, and Spain's current post-Golden Visa landscape, so you can align choices with your goals, not with marketing. United States, EB-5, Immigrant Investor Program. Core idea: qualified investment into a U.S. enterprise that creates jobs. Each investor must ultimately evidence at least 10 full-time U.S. jobs. Capital thresholds: $1,050,000 standard or $800,000 for TEAs, rural or high unemployment, and certain qualifying infrastructure. Filing pathway: most investors use a regional center and file Form I-526E. Evidence of lawful source and path of funds is essential. Status flow: if approved, conditional permanent residency, 2-year green card. Later, Form I-829 to remove conditions. Portugal, ARI, residence permit for investment, after the 2023 reform. Core idea: residence by investment focused on productive contributions. Real estate purchase routes closed for new ARI filings post-2023. Common routes: qualifying regulated funds, commonly around €500,000, scientific research or cultural support. Mobility and presence: a valid residence card enables short-stay movement within the Schengen area. Physical presence requirements are light, often summarized as about 7 days per year on average over renewal cycles. Spain, current post-Golden Visa landscape. Core idea: Spain ended its Golden Visa mechanism. Direct real estate investment is no longer a route to residence under that program. Current options: alternative residence categories exist under other laws, for example, entrepreneur, startup routes, highly qualified professionals. These have their own eligibility and presence criteria. Long-term: eligibility for long-term residence follows Spanish law in force at the time. How to choose: 5 practical filters. Purpose: are you relocating fully? US EB-5 often suits permanent relocation, or building EU optionality. Portugal ARI often suits mobility with lighter presence. Presence and lifestyle: how many days can you be in country each year? Map your family's academic calendar and tax reality. Capital and controls: understand thresholds and how funds are governed. Escrow and independent administration for EB-5. Fund eligibility for EU routes. Strategy notes for HNWIs and family offices. Diversification: pairing a U.S. lawful permanent resident path, EB-5, with an EU residence, Portugal, can diversify jurisdictional exposure and educational options. This is a strategic design choice, not advice. Currency lenses: EB-5 exposures are typically USD-centric. The authorization of residency for investment, ARI, is Euro-centric. Consider operational currency needs. Governance: align residency plans with trust, estate, and tax structures before executing. A few cautions to keep front of mind. No guarantees. Processing times and citizenship outcomes are never guaranteed. Capital at risk: EB-5 requires capital at risk. There are no guaranteed returns. Old info traps: Portugal's ARI no longer includes direct real estate routes for new filings. Spain's Golden Visa ended. Be wary of legacy marketing. Tax is personal. Cross-border tax rules are complex. Rely on licensed advisors in each jurisdiction. Why this framework works: it mirrors how authorities and institutions evaluate plans, by statute fit, evidence, and operational feasibility. If a claim can't be produced in writing from official sources, pause and verify. When you evaluate the US, Portugal, and Spain with the same filters, purpose, presence, capital governance, family, long-term path, you replace uncertainty with a clear decision tree. If you want structured checklists for comparing EB5, Portugal ARI, and Spain's current routes, covering presence, dependence, filings, and long-term pathways, learn more at invisa.info. This video is educational and does not constitute legal, tax, or investment advice. Program rules and eligibility can change. Outcomes vary by law and facts. Always consult licensed advisors for your specific situation.